All right, 25 minutes before 11 o'clock. Beautiful day out there. I can tell you that with confidence. It's a beautiful day. I can't tell you how it's going to be later on. I can't tell you how it's going to be next week. I can't tell you how that storm called Maria is going to do, but I can tell you right now it's a beautiful day. Also, I don't know what to tell you about how to get yourself well. You know, I went through a toothache last week, or actually the end of last week, and I was trying some of the herbal remedies that I had been reading about. What was it? Oil of oregano, I think, was supposed to help me with it. And I finally went to the dentist, and it was amazing the difference between what I hoped was going to be a non-traditional way of doing something and the traditional way. The traditional way definitely worked faster. I mean, it really was. I was so glad I went to the dentist. I was so glad that there were people out there who've studied things, that applied what they've studied, and I was able to, hopefully, it's not quite back to normal yet, but hopefully it'll be back to normal soon. At least I'm not in pain anyway, right?
Yeah.
So when you hear about herbal remedies and holistic approaches to different things, I mean, how do you react when you hear about them? Maybe it depends, huh? Maybe it depends. Is it a little cut? Is it a little sore on your lip, or is it Alzheimer's, or is it heart disease, or is it cancer? Is it something serious? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I mean, you hear all kinds of claims from all types of people, so we pay attention to everything everybody has to say. I had a cousin who was dying of cancer years ago, and he was doing all kinds of herbal remedies. And I said, by maybe about 6 months before he passed away, he was telling me, I'm getting tired. I don't know that I'm going to survive this. And he said, so I'm trying everything. I'm trying things I didn't believe would work.
Oh.
And, of course, he ended up dying anyway. Peggy Sarlin is on the phone. She's written a book. It's called Awakening from Alzheimer's. It's doing really well on Amazon. It's got some really great reviews. How America's most innovative doctors are reversing Alzheimer's, dementia, and memory loss. And we've learned in the past that Alzheimer's is dementia, but not all dementia is Alzheimer's. So just kind of making a little reminder of that little lesson we learned. Peggy is a freelance writer. She's written for NASA about space exploration. She's written scripts for many educational children's TV shows. She's a singer and a songwriter, which probably is an interesting other interview we could do with her. This one is about her book called Awakening from Alzheimer's. Good morning, Peggy Sarlin. Thank you for being on our show today.
Good morning, Larry. And the first thing I want to say to you is I'm so glad you took care of your tooth.
Yeah. Yeah.
It turns it turns out that your dental hygiene is profoundly connected to your brain health. So you did something good for your brain
and your heart health. Here's something.
Yeah.
Here's something I never knew.
If
you have an abscess and somehow the bacteria from that abscess gets into your blood, it could destroy your heart valves. Who knew that?
Well, exactly, and guess what? It travels via your blood to your brain. So good for you. We believe in good dental hygiene over here.
Yeah. So tell me about the book and about the claim that it can reverse Alzheimer's. That's the part of this I'm going to have a hard time with, if you don't mind me being.
Okay.
I'm going to be a little heavy-handed with the reversing part of this.
Okay, so I am delighted by your skepticism and happy to answer it. So September 21st, coming up this Thursday, is World Alzheimer's Day. And actually, we are starting that day a groundbreaking video series that you can see online, where I interviewed 14 of the world's top brain experts to hear the good stories, the stories we're not hearing. And let me just say at the outset, you can watch them all free. You just have to sign up. Mm-hmm. So you can go to event.awakeningfromalzheimers.com /sign up. And then every day you'll get an email with the link and you can watch the interview. Since you're skeptical, which, as I say, I welcome, and by no means am I saying, or is anybody of the 14 doctors I interviewed saying, oh, just, take this herbal remedy and you'll be fine. No, you cannot. The overwhelming message we have is, if you're experiencing cognitive decline, get yourself to a doctor who is state-of-the-art and knows what he or she is doing. Once you reach age 85, your chances are 50% of getting Alzheimer's. So this is really serious, and by no means should you be treating this yourself. But the point that we're making is that there are things you can do. There's a whole world of fantastic results that state-of-the-art doctors are getting, and those stories aren't getting out. That's what we're trying to do.
May I interject a question, Peggy? How do we know it's Alzheimer's? Like early on,
that's a good question.
If somebody's got if they've got indications that they've got some form of dementia happening, how are we able to diagnose Alzheimer's as opposed to whatever the other forms of dementia are?
That's a great question. I'm so glad you asked that. There was a study done in Hawaii a few years back where post-mortem, autopsies of people who had the diagnosis of Alzheimer's, and half of them didn't even have it. So it's often misdiagnosed, which is another big story that we have to tell. It's often not diagnosed. What happens, generally speaking, you may go to your family doctor or a neurologist and be told, oh, mom's acting confused, mom doesn't seem herself. Oh, she's got Alzheimer's. Here, take this prescription drug. And that's a very, very common event that we hear about. But
I guess what I want to know is, that prescription drug, is it specifically for Alzheimer's, or is it for dementia kind of as a blanket statement?
Well, there are these, there's just a couple of drugs that the FDA approves for Alzheimer's, but the problem is that and those drugs, everybody acknowledges, are very disappointing in terms of their scope. They don't do a whole lot, and whatever they do, they don't do long. And yes, there's kind of mission creep where they're being prescribed for other kinds of cognitive problems that they're not even necessarily designed for. So that is a great question. But many other things could be causing that brain fog, that confusion and forgetfulness.
Right.
Do you think that a human interaction could replace the person's need to take medication, like if you're there all the time with that person and just, including that person in on daily activities?
Robin, I'm so glad you brought that up. I mean, it really is important. Human contact is so important. And in fact, one of the doctors that I interviewed, Dr. Vincent Fortinez, who's a neurologist in California, he's actually developed his own method of helping people with Alzheimer's that involves a very focused human interaction where you try to awaken people's hippocampus, which is the brain center where Alzheimer's starts, is the hippocampus. And that's where the deterioration begins. And he tries to waken that up through sensory stimulation, through emotional stimulation of the senses. So people interacting with them to get them to sing songs they remember, to giving them smells, to remember smells associated with them, like cooking, etc. And so human interaction is tremendously important. Hey, at any stage.
So yeah, for sure.
So cognitive stimulation is actually a way of exercising the brain. Does it break through the problems caused by whatever's causing the dementia?
Not by itself. So maybe let's talk a little bit about some of the specifics. One thing I want to say is you're in Florida, and 5 of the doctors that I interviewed are in Florida or have Florida connections. Florida is really, in many cases, leading the way. So I want to highlight some of the great contributions being made there. I interviewed, for instance, Dr. Mary Newport, who's really a pioneer, kind of a personal hero of mine. Her husband, Steve, she's a neonatologist, in other words, newborn baby doctor. And her husband, Steve, unfortunately developed early Alzheimer's very severely. And it was going downhill very fast. And so she did some research and kind of came up with the idea that she knew from her own work as a neonatologist that new babies are fed with ketones, and which I'll get into in a minute. And she knew ketones are in coconut oil. She gave her husband a teaspoon of coconut oil, and he said later it was like a light switch came on in his brain. And it turns out that coconut oil contains ketones, and ketones are an alternative fuel source for the brain. As your brain gets older, as your brain gets,
we have to take a break. I want to make sure we stay on track with that topic right there, because I'm anxious to hear how that discovery has been used, and maybe we have some success stories you can tell us about. Peggy Sarlin is our guest. Her book is called Awakening from Alzheimer's: How America's Most Innovative Doctors Are Reversing Alzheimer's, Dementia, and Memory Loss. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Maybe a shower today, otherwise partly sunny skies, a high of 86 to 90, and a few clouds tonight with temperatures dropping around 66 to 73. Stray shower near the coast tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny otherwise, a high of 87 to 91, and we look dry Wednesday, high 88 to 91. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Maggie Johnson.
There are only a few things in life that you can be certain will always be around: death, taxes, the pursuit of happiness, and computers. As they continue to advance at an epic pace, the one absolute certainty about them is that they'll break. It's not an if, it's a when. And when it happens, bring it to the only company in Ocala that's certified in Apple and Microsoft, Ocala Mac and PC Repair. They even offer on-site computer repair service, so they come to you. And if you do drop it off, you can check your repair status online. Ocala Mac and PC Repair is a family-owned and operated company that can do everything from mobile repair to wireless networks, fixing viruses, data recovery, even building and installing new systems. Visit online at ocalamacpc.com. In person, 1713 East Silver Springs Boulevard, or give them a call, 352-566-8324. That's 352-566-8324. Ocala Mac and PC Repair.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
Hi, my name is Erica Olstein. I'm a doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine. Do you have a gout-ridden toe or bowels that move too slow, creaky knees, or how about an asthmatic wheeze? Then acupuncture is sure to please. Come visit me, your primary care physician, Erica Olstein at A Better You Healthcare. Call me at 352-615-5566. That's 352-615-5566.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 629-2440. In addition to our pasture mowing service, we also offer fence row spraying and stump grinding services. Now is the perfect time to get ahead on your weed control and to take care of those troublesome stumps for an overall pleasing appearance. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 629-2440, or online at powellgene@yahoo.com. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 629-2440.
All right, 11 minutes before 11 o'clock. Beautiful Monday morning. Thank you for tuning in. Of course, we're still picking up the pieces from Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Maria. Now something we're keeping an eye on and saying prayers that it does not reach us here. And then there's Hurricane Lee. I think it's right now Tropical Storm Lee behind Maria. So we're not out of the woods yet, and today begins the first day of picking up the debris from the storm. So be patient with those folks who are putting your electricity back on. Be patient with those folks picking up the debris. The debris pickup, by the way, is estimated to take 2 months. 2 months. So it begins today. Don't necessarily expect them to get to your house today. It's going to take a while, just so you know. Peggy Sarlin is our guest right now. Her book is called Awakening from Alzheimer's. We certainly have a lot of people in our listening audience that are very concerned about Alzheimer's. I don't want anybody to be misled by anything you hear us say. I am questioning Peggy as hard as I can to make sure that you have the answers you know. But the book does have some good reviews on Amazon, and that's where I was getting my information from. Peggy, thank you for waiting through the break.
Oh, my pleasure, and good luck with the cleanup.
Oh, my gosh.
The whole country's with you, sending lots of love to you from New York.
That is so nice. Is that where you are in New York right now?
I'm in New York, yeah.
So tell me about some success stories. Was the success stories based on the coconut oil you were talking about earlier?
Well, let me give you the bigger picture. Coconut oil is a component of it, and it's a fuel for the brain. Just a quick understanding of the brain, it's the most complex organ in your body, as you might imagine. It only takes up about 3% of your body weight, and it uses 20% of your energy. So you got to keep it tanked. And as you get older, the brain has more problems absorbing glucose. It's the primary fuel, and that might contribute to dementia, to Alzheimer's, to cognitive decline. It's not the problems in the cells themselves, it's that they're not getting fueled. Coconut oil provides you with ketones, which are an alternative fuel that your brain absorbs very, very well. So if you take 3 teaspoons a day, I would start with 1 teaspoon just to let your body adjust to it. You're providing your brain with another source of fuel, and so that's a very good thing you can do. And there are amazing stories about the help of it. But that's
what I want to hear. I want to hear a story.
Okay.
I want to hear about somebody you've witnessed or you know about with a good resource. You know, somebody who you're pretty confident is a true story. And did they come out? I mean, did they start remembering things that they forgot? Tell me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, Dr. Newport, who I should say on Thursday, the video series starts of my interviews with these experts. It's a 12-day event. You can watch free online. And you can hear Dr. Newport tell the story herself of the transformation of her husband, Steve. She since then has written 2 books and kind of become a grassroots advocate. And she told me she stopped counting the letters once she reached 400 letters from people writing to her about the wonderful results they got. So there's so many stories.
I'm sorry, but the results they got from what?
From taking from a steady supply throughout the day of coconut oil.
Oh, just coconut oil. Okay.
Yeah, coconut oil, there's variations. There's an extract of coconut oil called MCT oil, which is medium-chain triglycerides. You can mix them together to get a smoother ride. You're providing your brain with another source of fuel instead of the glucose. And so that's I would say that's the simplest thing I could tell you. May I tell you something a little more elaborate so that you can get a bigger picture.
Okay.
One of the doctors that I interview is Dr. Dale Bredesen. I really hope people watch the series so they can see these interviews. Dr. Bredesen is a researcher who just a couple of weeks ago published a book called The End of Alzheimer's, which is already on the bestseller list. And he is a major historical figure in terms of reversing these diseases, and as he's developed a protocol. So I told you something simple you can do. You can start taking coconut oil throughout the day. Let's say 3 teaspoons a day.
Can I tell you? I want to tell you a story. Because the reason I want to tell you a story is because I want you to know what I'm looking for.
Absolutely.
I'm looking for a story of one person who appeared to have Alzheimer's, or maybe was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, who you saw reversal of that Alzheimer's. My story is I knew a lady who had Alzheimer's, and I can tell you the story of how she went from being a brilliant, well-spoken lady to a mess, and to she wasn't there anymore. She was gone. I mean, her physical body was there, but she was gone. That's the story I have of it going in the bad direction. And I'm looking
That's
for
right.
I'm looking for a story of one person that goes the other direction.
Well, Dr. Pamela Wardian-Smith is a metabolic anti-aging specialist who owns the Center for Personalized Medicine, which is she's based in the Michigan area, but she has an office in Tampa, and she's taught at the University of South Florida College of Medicine. And she told me a lot of stories. For instance, she told me about a woman who was so far gone in terms of her brain that she lived 4 blocks from Dr. Smith's office.
Okay.
And it took her 4 hours to get the 4 blocks because she kept getting lost.
Okay.
So that's how far gone she was.
That's pretty bad.
And that's pretty bad. And, as you may know, getting lost is one of the early signs.
Yeah, 4 hours for a 4-block trip, yeah. I wonder where she went. I mean, where?
Yeah,
exactly.
Who knows? And it could have been dangerous. So thank God she got there.
So what happened?
But Dr. Smith worked with her in this more elaborate way, in the way that Dr. Bredesen, whom I mentioned, has kind of codified into a protocol.
Okay.
And that involves getting. I'll cut to the chase.
Yeah.
At this point, I think she's now 85. She runs a chain of gourmet restaurants with her son.
The lady with Alzheimer's?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so in other words, she went from being so confused because of Alzheimer's that she took 4 hours to walk 4 blocks, and now she's running a chain of restaurants.
Gourmet restaurant.
Oh, gourmet.
5-star restaurant.
Yeah.
5-star restaurant with her son.
So, and what does she do? What's her job?
Well, okay, she. Dr. Smith worked with her in the same way that Dr. Bredesen works, and Dr. Bredesen, for instance, has one of his first patients who had gotten diagnosed with Alzheimer's, which her mother had died of, and she was planning to kill herself, and she told her friend she was going to kill herself because it was hopeless, and the friend happened to have heard of Dr. Bredesen, and referred her to him, and she now opened up a new office in her work. So these are the kind of stories, and they come from a protocol. What are you eating? Are you eating a diet filled with good food and emphasizing healthy fats? Your brain needs healthy fats. Are you giving your brain healthy fats? How are you sleeping? Do you have sleep apnea that has not been treated? You need sleep.
So, but if we sleep right and eat right, are you saying we will ward off dementia, or we can reverse it, or both?
I am saying both. I am saying that both. I'm saying important point to make for people who are listening, who may have the genetic marker, perhaps a parent had it.
Do you know,
perhaps
Peggy, I've never seen anybody reverse Alzheimer's. I'm sorry, but I never have. I wish somebody would use the techniques you're talking about and go to the facilities that are right here in our listening area and help somebody videotape it. You will be a millionaire when you start showing that video, because everybody will say, I want that treatment.
exactly.
That's what
Well, okay. I would say Dr. Bredesen is kind of the face of this new paradigm, and I interview him, and you can learn from him. You can read his book. Furthermore, you can go to his website and he has trained hundreds of doctors in his protocol.
Is he mentioned in your book?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
He's in the book,
All right.
and he's in the interviews, and you can go to the office in Tampa, the Center for Personalized Medicine.
The book has got good reviews on Amazon. That's where I found it. I have a copy of it here. Peggy, real quickly, we've got 10 seconds. Can you give us a website?
Yes. Why don't you go to awakeningfromalzheimers.com?
Excellent.
You'll learn a lot there.
Peggy,
You'll learn a lot there.
Thank you, Peggy. Thank you so much for being on the air with us today. We will be right back.
Casting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. The president's at the United Nations attending a meeting on reforming the UN, praising the Secretary General.
We support your efforts to look across the entire system and to find ways the United Nations can better and be better at development, management, peace, and security.
Some bilateral meetings today on the agenda for President Trump, who was in the spotlight last night, even though he wasn't at the Emmy Awards ceremony.
Host Stephen Colbert kicked things off with an anti-Trump song and dance, sound courtesy of CBS.
The Americans has hotter spies than the Russia inquiry. Even treason's better on TV.
Award winners also attacked the president during their acceptance speeches.
Fox's Carly Shimkus, counselor to the president Kellyanne Conway, says shows are getting too politicized. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Getting your flu shot at Walgreens is easier than ever. Just walk right in, and there's no cost to you with a $0 copay with most insurance. Plus, when you get a flu shot, you help provide a life-saving vaccine to a child in need through the UN Foundation. Swing by your local Walgreens anytime to get a flu shot and help make a difference. Get a shot, give a shot. It's that easy. Walgreens, at the corner of happy and healthy.
Through August 31st, 2018, for every immunization given, Walgreens will donate 22 cents up to $2 million. Vaccine restrictions apply. Talk to your pharmacist to learn more.
When you're hiring, you want qualified candidates fast, and it can be hard to know where to find them. More than 3 million businesses use Indeed.com, the world's #1 job site. Whether you need entry-level or highly skilled employees, Indeed helps you find great talent and make the right hire. Indeed is offering new users a $50 credit to give their first job post premium visibility as a sponsored job. Redeem this offer at Indeed.com/promo. That's Indeed.com/promo. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. The crop production and peanut stocks and processing goes together to present the peanut supply and disappearance. According to the USDA this past week, U.S. peanut production now is estimated to be up 36.9% to 3,890,000 tons. Domestic food demand, they said, for the coming year is now forecast at 3.6%. That is a long way from a 36.9. Strong export demand for U.S. peanuts will have to restart because it has slowed down. May continue as well. They're predicting 1.5 billion pounds or 750,000 tons.